Again, this is Josefina Bonilla, and this is the Roar webinar series with special guest Daniel Guttierez. Daniel Guttierez, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm excited to be here.
It's so how long have I known you, Daniel?
Wow. Quite a while. Yeah. I would say at least 10 years, if not more. But I didn't want to age myself, so I was
I don't blame
5 weeks. Yeah.
I don't want to age myself either. So I'm just going to put it on this view because it's a lot easier on the eye. And that way we can almost feel like we're talking to each other on a sofa.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
There you go. All the way in the Andes of Peru.
That's right. That's right. So I have lots of things I want to talk about.
Sure.
But I'm going to start with this shift that we're all going through. Mm-hmm. With the COVID-19 and how mindfulness can play a really important part in how we deal with what's going on in our surroundings.
You know, that's a great question because mindfulness has never been more important than it is today. And why is that? Mindfulness is being centered in the moment so that you can mindfully eat, you can mindfully walk, you can mindfully do a lot of things. But in today's culture, in today's environment, it's very easy as a business owner, as an individual, as a house mom, as whatever, to get so caught up in what's in the future and what's coming that you cause undue stress. You cause undue anxiety. Anxiety and stress a lot of times are self-inflicted. And that comes from being caught up in either what happened in the past or what's going to happen. And which, you know, with us, I mean, this is the first time in the history of our world that the entire world is suffering the same fate. It's not just us. It's just not you. And that's the one thing I want to say to people. It's just not you. I know that each individual plays out their own situation on their own and in their own lives, but be mindful that this is happening to the world, not just to you. And when you think of that, what it ends up doing is it really begins to allow you to stay more calm. It's so important to be calm. And I think that's where mindfulness plays a big part, right?
But before you go on, it's easier said than done.
Yes.
And maybe if we can talk about maybe the process, because I know sometimes I'm just going through and I get in my car and I realize I don't even know how I got there.
That's scary.
Yeah, because I am on auto drive, right?
That's your subconscious mind, yeah.
Exactly. So I think what you're talking about is being present in each moment.
It's being present each moment and being practical about it. This is not a difficult thing to do. It's difficult when we are so preoccupied in our mind and about our lives that, like you said, you end up turning the car off and going, who drove? That's a pretty scary thing, that your subconscious mind is taken over because that route, it knows that route. So how do we stay mindfully present, radically mindfully present, so that we can not be so stressed out and not worry so much about the future? That one of the most important things that I did, and this is in my book, Radical Mindfulness, is asking myself a few questions to allow myself to find out where I'm at. Like the most important question, one of the most important questions you could ask is, where are my thoughts right now? Am I in the past? Am I in the present? Or am I in the future? Well, if you have to ask yourself that, you're not in the present. You're in, or you're in the future. And then after I ask myself, this is the most important part because this is what grounds you. The next question I ask myself is, am I okay right now? I mean, like right now. In this moment, am I okay? They're not repoing my house. They're not taking my car. I'm not losing my job. No, the answer is usually no. I mean, yes, that I am okay in this moment. So if I'm okay in this moment and I can stay radically present in the moment, then I can release stress and anxiety that's probably causing a lot of problems. That's what's causing the whole idea.
We lost Daniel for a second. And as some of you already know, Daniel is in Peru. But one of the things, Daniel was my mindfulness coach for a number of years. And there were a couple of things that he taught me. But one that I think about often is when I'm in a state of chaos, I stop and I do three things. I ask myself, like Daniel suggested, am I in, thank you, Daniel. Let me have you unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself again?
Yeah, I just did. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sorry, we missed a lot of you. And we were to the point where you were in step 2 and then the step 3, which allows you to be focused.
Yes.
Oh, so we lost Daniel again. I'm sorry about that.
And that's all right. Yeah, well, you remember I'm in the Andes of Peru, so it's not like I'm in LA somewhere where I got strong connection.
So go ahead, and then I want to shift gears real quick because we have a lot of things I want to talk about.
Yes, and so the next thing you want to ask yourself are, this is important, are the thoughts I'm having real? And have they ever been real? So, you know, a lot of people think about the virus because they're scared they're going to get it. But in the moment, it's not true you even ever had it. So what are you stressing about? I always tell people, you know what? If you take a test and they say you have it, stress about it. But until you do, what's the point in putting yourself through so much stress and anxiety, right? And so asking yourself that question, are the thoughts I'm having now true? Have you ever lost your house? No. Have you ever not paid your car payment? No. There was always something that came up, especially if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner. You always found a way to make it happen. So why get stressed about things that haven't happened?
Right.
But it's just natural for human nature for us to go there. That's why mindfulness is so important.
So I was, while you went away for a quick minute, I was talking about our time together as my coach, my mindfulness coach. And that one of the takeaways that I had in our time together was what you were just talking about. If I'm in a state of chaos and I stop and I ask myself, am I in danger? And am I in danger? If is something happening to me right now? Number 2, if the answer is no, then I go to step 2. Step 2 being, is what I'm thinking actually real, or am I making that up? Right? And if the answer is no, then let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
So that's one of the things that I tell people all the time when I see them a little in this space. But can we talk about you as a coach, as a mindfulness coach? How do you take inventory of someone, and how do you move into a relationship? I know how that was for me, but can you talk about it from your perspective?
Well, you know, what's interesting about coaching is that people may come to you, and you probably experienced this with me, is that you come for a certain reason. There's always something in a person's mind. I want to do this or I want to do that, but whether it be business or personal. But the truth is that it's impossible to find the results that we're looking for till we know what the internal dialogue is all about. I'm not talking about what you're telling me. It's what's the internal dialogue all about. What's causing you not to be able to close that deal or grow your business or sell your business, whatever it may be. And so for me, it's all about a conversation. And in conversation, inevitably in the first conversation, you'll always protect yourself, always. But by the second or third conversation, you've forgotten that I'm your coach, and you just start. And that's what that's where the work is that the things that we keep from the people out there, because, you know, as I told you, I feel like I'm a whiteboard for people. In other words, I'm safe. I'm not in your social circle. I'm not anywhere where, you know, I would be invested in your life. And so you can put things up on the whiteboard to hear yourself talk. Many people just need to hear themselves talk about whatever it is that their issues are, so that they can logically make sense out of what they're thinking and maybe be guided into a certain way. So, well, what about this? And what about that? And so I always say I'm a human whiteboard. And so you just throw everything on the whiteboard, and then let's just arrange it. Let's see which one we tackle first. And that's my approach, right? And I've been doing this for 30 years, you know, and it's just human connection and really just listening. And then offering some of the things that, as you know, I offer up, like the crazy Palo Santo thing, you know.
I love, and I still use, by the way.
You know, you didn't like it in the beginning, so don't lie.
I love that stuff. But no, I think for me, you became my coach when I started the process of thinking about what I was going to do with Color Magazine.
Right.
And at the time, I was ready to jump ship, to be honest. I was ready to do something different.
You were ready to give it away.
Hey, no more secrets.
That's not what happened, but anyway.
And really through or work together, I was able to sell color in the way that I wanted to, in the way that was the best possible opportunity for me. But that took a lot of work. I mean, I think we started one of the sessions that we had together at the beginning of our time together was that it was New Year's Eve, and you had me go into the office and declutter my office and only put in front of me that which I wanted to focus on.
Yep. I remember.
And how really impactful that was. You also had me go through and talk about via email some things that, I'm a very personal person. I keep my stuff to myself. So you had me go through an email process between you and I that you had me write some of the things that I actually wanted and why I wanted them. Was it because I wanted to create a legacy? Was it because I wanted to leave something for my children? So can you talk a little bit about that process that you currently do with others?
Yeah, because I think it's important, especially people who are busy. Like you were busy, you had a lot going on. Not only were you a business person, entrepreneur, you're a mom. There's a lot of things going on. All that plays into it. Every single bit of it plays into it. So it was important in order to guide you to know where your desires were. Where were your desires? What was the reason for them? Because remember I told you personal, physical, emotional, relational. Where does it fit? And I remember you saying to me, well, this has got nothing to do with business.
What's that? That's right.
Do with business. I said, it's got everything to do with business. Because if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And then we got them all. Everything you wrote on that paper that year, that New Year's Eve, you actually attained at one point or another. And the only reason why is because you began to focus on what was important. That goes back to mindfulness. If I stay present in the moment, and I can keep myself in the now, that means that every decision that I make is going to take me toward one of those goals I have. But if I'm all willy-nilly, never here, then I'm just taking a shotgun approach to life and hoping that one of those BBs hits something. It's very difficult to achieve your goals that way. And so that was kind of the process. Write it down, and we fine-tuned it. Is this really sure what you want? And I think even halfway through the process, you changed it because you changed your mind. Guess what, folks? You can change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. Most people think because our parents taught us, you set a goal and you don't let go until you hit it.
Right. Well, interestingly enough, I think about also the I am statements that we worked on.
Right.
I mean, that's something that you also really helped me with. And many of the I am statements that I worked on came to fruition.
Well, the I am statements support the goal. So if I want to be the CEO of X company, then the I am statement is I am a CEO. Not I want to be, not I'm thinking about it. I mean, because that's
I should be.
Yeah, I should be. Oh, all that stuff is just fluff. You just call it out. It's a command into the universe saying, this is my desire. And if you hang on to that long enough, it becomes so. Just like everything else becomes so.
Exactly. But to your point also, many of the I am statements that I initially started with, I was able to easily cast away because they no longer served me. They were no longer part of who I was or who I had become, really, because the person that started Color Magazine is not the person that you see here in front of you.
That's right.
But it was that process. So I want, that for me was incredibly important. The I am
Well, it all has to match. Your most dominant thought is coming into existence. Your most dominant thought, if your most dominant thought is fear, then it's very difficult to attain your goals. But when you're laser focused on, I want a number 10 relationship. I don't want a 5. I had that. I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. None of them want. But when we don't see ourselves in a position to claim what we want, then we just keep getting halfway there. And that's true about business, true about finances, true about personal, true about relationships. And that's kind of where I guided you was we were constantly fine tuning. I never said, okay, if you put it down, you better go get it first. It was all about let your life flow into the space where one day you wake up and you realize you love the person you are.
Yes, yes. And the other thing that I found interesting is that in that process of letting go of those things, some of those, there's an interplay between what's possible and what's really kind of out there.
Right.
So for example, you know, and I want you to talk a little bit about this. If my goal or one of my I am statements, my goal is to be a CEO of a company, and you know, I may not have that, you know, I may not have the qualifications to be the CEO. What's the relationship between an I am statement or a goal and a goal that's kind of a little out there?
I think it's important for it to be a little out there. You know, it needs to be, because the I am statement is being clear about, and the I am statement is not about do you have the qualifications or not. The I am statement is I'm calling this into existence, and in the process of believing it, I may have to go to school.
Right.
Or the process of believing it, I may need to write this book. And then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're a CEO. Why? Because you claimed it, right? It's not about am I ready or not. I think if you tackle something that you're ready to do, it's low hanging fruit. It's just something you know you can do so you can feel better about yourself. That's not the kind of coaching I like to do. I like to say, let's stretch a little bit. So you don't hit CEO and maybe you're CFO. I don't know, right? But we keep the I am statement is so powerful, even for myself, because I look at where I want to go and I claim it. You know, I remember as a young boy and playing football, my coach used to say, fake it till you make it. We've all heard it. And I remember saying, what does that mean, fake it till you make it? I mean, it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized that fake it till you make it meant fake your subconscious mind into believing what you're thinking is true until it believes it also. Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you think in here and what is reality out here. So when you claim an I am statement, you're basically programming your subconscious mind to kind of catch up to your desire. And when that happens, as you know, bam, instant success.
So if I am new to this and I'm thinking, this sounds great, there's a couple ways I can reach out to you. One, through your email, right? Daniel@danielguttierez.com.
Right.
The second piece is I can also purchase one of your books that's online. Right. And the third opportunity is you run Catalina. I wanted to say Catalina del Mar, but
don't go there.
Catalina, tell me a little bit or tell us about Catalina.
Catalina is a retreat center nestled in the Andes of Peru. It is an incredible property. I've worked hard over the last year to, even amidst COVID, I mean, as difficult as it has been for all of us, it's not, someone said last night in a conversation, Daniel just doesn't let go. He always finds a solution for the problem he's in. That's because I don't give up. Not because it's not bad, it's bad for me too, but we've been able to continue to move forward and do what the world is asking. Again, this is not happening to me. It's happening to us, all of us, right? Or for us. And so Catalina is a retreat center with, I have animals, I have 9 buildings, I have a restaurant, I have a yoga center, I have a massage center, I have a corporate center. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful property sitting on 2 hectares. And people come here and just relax. I'm up nestled up against the mountains.
So what type of guests do you normally welcome?
I have all kinds of guests. I've had corporate people here. I've had yoga people here. It really is, it's a private property. So you can't really go online and book it. Everyone that comes here, I know. And I do that for a reason, because it's private, we're gated, we have cameras, we protect the guest and we protect the property. And so when let's just say you came here with a group, it's designed around groups coming here, right? So if a corporate group wanted to come here, you have the whole property to yourself that week. There's nobody else here. I don't double book it. I don't put too many people here. We can seat up to 30 people, but the best group are the 10 to 15, you know, so they really get to know each other. They have the whole property to themselves. They absolutely really appreciate that, because then they have space. And that's what we need in life, space, right? We can't find peace and tranquility if we don't have space. And I offer that here. And it's just one of those places. And it keeps getting better and better, right? I mean, I didn't even have Wi-Fi, you know, until it took me 9 months to get Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. And now we're on it.
Yay. So if I, and I'm just talking because I think there's people out there that are interested. If I have a group, say, of women that I want to bring to Catalina, the best way for me is to reach out to you and say, I have 10 leaders, I want to do blah, blah, blah. Can you fill in the blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So if you go to my website, danielguttierez.com, and there's a booking thing there, when you hit that button, it's going to say, do you want to speak to me about a retreat, or do you want to speak to me about coaching? And so when I see that on my calendar, I know why you're reaching out to me. At that point, what I do is we have our meeting, make sure that we're a fit, and then I send a PDF over of all the details of what I cover and, you know, what we do here. Oh, I mean, the most amazing thing that's happened to me in COVID is that literally there was nobody here. So I decided to go make relationships with the indigenous people. And I've been up in the mountains building relationships. Now our guests are invited to go to those places and spend the night and dance with them. And I mean, it's been amazing, you know, to be able to really get to know the people of Pisac, where Catalina's at, and Pisac in the Sacred Valley of the Incas, and just absolutely beautiful people. So go to my website, you click on book, decide what you want, if you want coaching or if you want to, you know, talk to me about the retreat center. And then, because it really takes a one-on-one conversation for me to see if we have what you need, if we're big enough, all those things.
Okay, and so, because I know I've seen the photos, you have some on Facebook, on your Facebook page, and they are amazing, and definitely something that I want to be able to do. I want to take my kids to go with.
Oh, they'd love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they would. But when do you open?
I'm open.
No,
yeah, I'm open. No, okay. I'm open. You guys aren't open. I'm open.
So let me rephrase that. When can we go?
As soon as they let you. No, actually, I have a group coming here at the end of August from the U.S.
Okay.
So here's what's going on. They didn't allow any booking. You couldn't buy a flight to Peru at all from the U.S. until last week. And so last week they opened up the portal. In the mid-August, the borders of Peru will be open. And then once that's open, then people can come. So I say the end of August because you need some time to work out the bugs. And then by September, October, November, December, people can come.
Perfect. So, and what do you recommend? 5 days, 7 days?
Well, all our trips are 7 days because, you know, we handle everything once you get here. So once you come here, we pick up at the airport. We're 45 minutes from Cusco, and there's a full itinerary. Depending on your needs. If you say, I don't want to do that, then we don't do that. We find someone else to do. But there's an itinerary that I put out in terms of what we're going to do, and all transportation, all train tickets, all that stuff's handled. You don't do anything except show up, and we take care of it from there.
And the weather, talk to me about the weather. What do you bring to?
September, October, and November are the best weather months here. All year round, now that I've lived through every season, the only month I wouldn't recommend is February. And that's because it rains so hard, and I just don't want to, I'm probably going to be in the US for a month during February. But every other month, people tend to come here in June and July because of, school's out and they're on vacation. But
Right.
June and July, like right now, is my winter. And so what does that mean? Well, during the day, it's warm, but at night it could get down, around 30. But as soon as the sun comes up, there's no snow, nothing like that. During the day, you're in a tank top, it's hot. But as soon as the sun goes behind the mountains, it gets cold instantly, because there's no more sun to warm us up. So the rest of the year, pretty much 40s and 70s. Lowest it gets in the 40s.
And when somebody contacts you, should they already have a clear idea of what they want to do, or can you help them through the process?
I'll walk them through it, because a lot of times when people come to Peru, especially to say if they're coming from Europe, they don't want to stay 1 week. They want to stay 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And so they stay a week with me, and then I help them figure out what they want to do from here and connect them with people to do Puno or do Naxta, or they might want to go to the jungle. There's a lot of things they can do from here.
Super. So we have a few minutes. I'm going to leave it up we have 3 minutes before we need to close down. But honestly, I think that if people want to reach out for those 3 reasons, for the coaching, for the
book
retreat center, and to get the book, Amazon for the book, the coaching, all of this. And do you have also the link to the books on your website? Can they?
I think they are there. They go straight to Amazon. Now that I'm in Peru, I mean, it's really probably one of the things that first hit me getting here is I don't have a mail address here. It says Avano de Amazonas SN. I never knew what SN meant. It says sin número, no number.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't get mail here at all. So it's really best to, so I can't send mail either. So it's best just to go to Amazon, because, they send it to you right away. Yeah. And then if you do come here, I obviously have books here, and I'm happy to sign them.
Oh, super, super duper. Well, as you know, I learned a lot from you. I was grateful for the coaching that we had together. And I can honestly attest to great results for myself. And some of the things that I learned with you, I also have imparted on my children. Particularly the oldest one, when that's 3-step. Are you in any danger?
Right. That's probably in the book Radical Mindfulness, that's where all those practices are at in the book. And I can't tell you how many people say they carry that around just to make sure they don't freak out. We live in a world that's stressful. We do live in a world that's stressful right now. And the best we can do is to keep ourselves centered and present. If we can do that, then we'll make it through this. And if we can't, then we're going to have a hard time. And it also breaks down your immune system when you're stressed out. And right now we need to be strong as we can. Especially
not only for ourselves, but for our families. And we're finding that with this pandemic, we're growing closer with our families, and we're sharing a lot more than we used to. I think it's changed things in so many unexpected and great ways as well.
I agree.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing Catalina.
Yeah, come on down. The water's good, and then I'll go see Catalina.
That's right. We'll talk about that another day.
That's right.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the week.
You too.
Bye-bye.